I'm just kind of live streaming some thoughts I've been chewing on lately, and right off the bat, I'm just going to confirm that I have no personal experience with dying. In fact, dying is in like my top three things I try to avoid on a daily basis, so this is all theory, and call it faith or whatever you'd like, but I do think that life and consciousness go on once we die, and I have my own reasons for that, but that's another video. But I grew up in a religious tradition where life is all about what you believe. Like, if you believe this long list of very particular things about God, then you're good to go. And once I got disenchanted with that idea, I became very focused on what people do and thought, oh, life isn't about what people say or believe, because that's easy. It's how they act that matters. Are they reliable? Do they stay true to their word? Do they know how to compromise and peacemake and act maturely through the stressful situations that life puts us in? And I still certainly think that's a step up from just focusing predominantly on what you believe, but more and more I've become convinced that like life isn't primarily just about what you believe or what you do, but like what you are, like the kind of person you've become. And I think that's the only thing we can really take with us when we go. And I've been thinking about this for a while now for a number of reasons, but the main one is probably that I can easily get crushed by my own expectations of what I want to do with my life just because I want to do a lot. I want to do things that are meaningful and significant, and you constantly see other people doing these incredible things in the news or on social media, or you hear a deep song or watch an inspiring movie, and you're like, wow, that person created something significant that resonated with people. Like, when am I going to create something significant that resonates with people? And I'm just trying to remind myself that I think that's the wrong metric. Like, there are people who do or create incredible things but haven't quite developed themselves as a person. And I like the idea that who you are is the ultimate metric for the meaning of life, because it puts everyone on equal footing. Like, it doesn't matter where you're born, what race you are, what gender, what socioeconomic status. It just matters what you do with the hand that you were dealt, and that you became a kind and helpful person in spite of all the struggles you went through. That everyone goes through hard stuff, and it doesn't necessarily excuse you from being a bad or mean person. Like, I'll see a Mr. Beast video and I'll think, damn, this fella has done so much with his life and helped so many people, and he's only 27. And I think about how there's a near zero chance that my life will have as much of an impact on the world as his, but then I stop and have to remind myself, like, wait, that's the wrong metric, Andrew. Like, get it through your skull. Which, by the way, I'm Andrew, and this is my co-host, Oakley, and we're currently taking donations in the form of subscribes or Olroy bacon strips. But I legit fight the struggle to do so much with my life all the time, because I'm getting older every day and I feel like my clock is running out, but I'm trying to focus less on doing more stuff and focus more on being the kind of person who makes other people's lives better and more interesting. And where I want that to naturally, like, with I want to be there without having to rationalize my way into it. Like, I just want to be the kind of person who enjoys sacrificing my time and energy and money, and I'm not always accounting like, well, I guess I can do this thing with this person because I can work on this other project later. Like, it shouldn't be about the projects or the all the stuff that I want to do. It should be about the people and the relationships and like my own personal development. Like, I went and saw The Life of Chuck this weekend. It stars Tom Hiddleston and a bunch of other famous people, and there's this scene where Chuck, this business fella, walks by a busker on the town square who's playing a drum set, and he's about to just walk past, but then he sets down his bag and just starts vibing, like dancing all over the place, and a crowd gathers, and there's this girl in the crowd that we're introduced to earlier, and she's just having the worst day, but she decides to hop in the circle and dance with Chuck, and the crowd is going wild and having a great time, and they all just have this magical human moment. And then the narrator starts speaking and says, later in life, Chuck's brain cancer will make him lose grip on the difference between waking and sleeping, and enter a land of pain so great that he will wonder why God made the world. Later, he will forget his wife's name. What he will remember, occasionally, is how he stopped and dropped his briefcase and began to move his hips to the beat of the drums, and he will think, that is why God made the world. And I just really appreciated that sentiment, like those moments of connection and love between people, like the effect it had on them. Like, because in that scene in The Life of Chuck, that girl goes from having the worst day to just having one of the best experiences of her life. That's just a flash dance on a city square. And it all started because a fellow just thought, you know what, instead of just passing by this moment, I'm going to make a moment for myself and for all these people, just to remind us, like, hey, sometimes you just gotta stop. Like, we had a roommate from Kenya back in the day, and she said that people sometimes would just like stop they'd like walk along the highways, and sometimes they'd just stop and sit down, and because they'd say like they needed to wait for their soul to catch up with their body. Like, you're just going, and sometimes you literally just have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going too fast, too much, and I need to just chill and wait for things to just realign. But unfortunately, I'm way too busy for that kind of thing right now, which is a problem. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, work through my mindset and shift it, because I want to become less busy and make more intentional time to just be, and make space for those moments, especially with my kids. Like, I don't want to focus so much on creating my own films or music or whatever that I forget about why I even care about those art mediums in the first place. Like, just yesterday, I went over to my cousin and his wife's place to work on some things together, because we've got some work projects, and they invited me to swim with them and their kids, and my uncle too, that I hadn't seen in a while. And I was thinking, I don't know, like, I just got here and we've got a lot to do and haven't even really started on our stuff. But then I remembered that thought about The Life of Chuck, and I was like, you know what? This is one of those things that actually matters. And that's not to say that the work I do for people doesn't matter, but it's more the mindset I'm trying to work on. Like, I don't want to be a Scrooge whose lens that I look through the world at is efficiency and productivity. So if you have any experiences that have just made you think like, hey, this is like what life's about, and I need to make more time for this, please leave them in the comments. And also please subscribe so that Oakley can take off from his constantly busy work life and focus more on the kind of person he wants to become.